Good afternoon, students. This is Dr. Morgan Phenix coming to you from Stanley, Virginia. It's a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. Quite chilly out there today, but it was 70 degrees yesterday and the day before, so who knows exactly what's going on with the weather. But here we go. We're going into week 7, and you have your recurring assignments, journal article critique, and the discussion board. Everything is going very, very well there. Looking back on week 4, I see that almost all of you did very well on the case studies and took the projects or the situations to heart, and in a way invested your own very, very clear thinking in what was going on there. I do once again want to remind you about the formatting that the assignment calls for. Is very, very specific, and almost all of you got that. But the SWOT and outline formatting, which is not required absolutely, but boy, I certainly do recommend it. And likewise for the case recommendations, because then it's very, very easy for you and for me to see exactly what your thinking is on this and how you have analyzed and synthesized the problem, and how you would apply yourself to try to solve the issues that are involved there. Okay, and things are not typically altogether well done in these cases, both Serge Romanich and also the 3 that you will choose from. Okay, so for week 7, your case study number 2. And if you would like to get the best information on how to improve your score from the last time, if you need to do that, your best information is found in case study number 1. Check my comments; they're very, very complete, I think, and they will give you a clear idea as to the kind of things that maybe you weren't paying attention to. Okay, and the main thing is that you are an outside observer, and you're coming into these 3 environments. There are 3 case studies, and you'll choose only one of them. Only one, please, only one. I've had students do all 3, only one. But you're going to be coming in as an outside observer, as an expert, as somebody that is really keen on figuring out what the best way forward is, or if everything is going very, very well, then at least to catalog what has been done well in these cases. Okay, so 3 cases. The case study, the first one that you'll choose from is the case of Dan as a disciplinary issue. Okay, expulsion of a middle school student. That's pretty young. Okay, the second case is of Emily. It's a special education, a severe and profound, cerebral palsy student with multiple disabilities involved. And the third one is a case of Robert, which is bullying and cultural insensitivity on the part of lots of people in the school. And you need to. I think the smartest place to start is to think of who are the key players. Okay, and if you can't identify key players there which should be there, that's also another issue. Okay, who are the people that should be involved with each and every one of these cases? And if there are people missing, that's part of your case study. Then there are people that you have to go and find and see what they're doing and how they are managing. Okay. So I think that's one way to start. However, I would like to encourage you most strongly to begin with a thesis statement, a clear thesis statement about the case, about the student involved, or about the school involved, okay, or the program involved. Not about special education or least restrictive environment, or about expulsion and generalized statements about safety in schools. We don't need that, or about cultural sensitivity and diversity, okay, which is the subject of this course. But there are so many different kinds of diversity. I hope at least you're coming to terms with that. All right. So you have Dan, expulsion, or Emily, special education services, or Robert, cultural sensitivity and bullying. Choose one of those. All righty. And once again, go back to your case study 1 comments to find out. Now, and the only information that you're using, your only resource is this the 3 case studies. They're listed separately, and there are questions at the end of each one of them. You do not need to answer those questions per se. Okay, you are to summarize the case that you choose. Summarize 1 page, 1.5 pages as to what's going on, who are the players, what's being done well, what's not being done so well, what's missing that should be there. Okay. And then that's it. 1.5 page. No outside research, no reference of any kind. Okay. And you go to your SWOT, and I don't think any of you use the quadrant format, which I'm glad, because they're very, very hard for me to put marks on. And almost all of you, I think with the exception of 2 people, use this sort of an outline format for SWOT strengths, and you just list them. But make sure that for example, Emily is a cerebral palsy student. Cerebral palsy is not a weakness, it's a fact, okay? The weakness would be if there are program features that are missing. Okay, the strengths would be if there's a very strong person involved, as Mrs. Evans was with Serge Romanich. That's the strength. Okay, for example, in the case of Serge Romanich, the people involved, Serge, his resilience was a strength. You know, Serge Romanich, his resilience in the face of this, he should be PTSD. He should be, totally whacked out from the war and from loss of his father, as there's no father there. I think in the earlier iterations of that case, he had witnessed his father's death in the war-torn Croatia, Serbia, right? Okay, remember all that? Maybe you don't remember all that. And opportunities. This is really the most important one of all of them. Of course, if there are weaknesses, you got to fix them. But opportunities, the things that they could have done, the things that they should have done. Alrighty. And then finally, where's the last page there? Well, just take it right here. The case recommendations. High tech here, guys. High tech. Case recommendations. Just make a list. I would do the following things. But begin with a thesis statement about Dan's expulsion, about the appropriateness of it or the inappropriateness of it. Or in the case of Emily, about the services that she is receiving. Okay, and are you for what's going on? Are you a little bit critical of what's going on? Put that in your first statement, and maybe try to include the student's name in your first sentence. It'll make your job much easier if you have that in mind. Okay, or Robert. Okay, bullying and cultural insensitivity. What is the situation of the school? And in two of these cases, the school board is involved. School boards. Okay, they are typically policy-making bodies, but if the school board is involved in the daily running of the schools, there are some questions there, right? Okay, and then the case recommendations. So once again, your case study number 2 will be a 1-page or 1.5-page summary of the actual case. No research, none whatsoever. Your SWOT outline, you do use outline format, 4 or 5, and in these cases, in these 3 cases, there are many things that are missing. Okay, there's some absences and some vacuums here, and that makes it a little bit hard to find some of these things. Specifically some strengths in all 3 of these cases. It's difficult. So look carefully there for what goes in there. Okay, so you have your 1-page summary, no research, your SWOT outline format, and then your case recommendations, a list of very brief statements as to what you would do. Alrighty, I hope that's enough. And once again, go back and look at my comments for your case study number 1, and you'll get a lot of information from there. And then finally, you'll be working ahead on your final project. It's due in week 8, which is next week. Okay, and it's due on Friday of that week. That's very, very hard. It's a hard week for you, the week 8. And we'll come back to the week 8 option again. And once again, if you're going to do a PowerPoint format, and I always enjoy them very, very much. If you have any idea of doing a PowerPoint, go ahead and do it. But minimal text on the screen. You're not just putting an essay into 14 slides or 10 slides. You're putting some graphics up there, some very brief statement of some kind that will maybe capture the attention, maybe some photography there, pictures of kids, pictures of programs, and then you will have your detail. And you must have that. You must have detail in the speaker's notes down below, hidden, out of sight. It makes you the expert in the room. You are the expert in the room. You'll also be posting, this is for week 8 now, you'll be posting your final project in live text. That's your professional portfolio, okay, as required by the university here. This is your capstone project for this course, and you'll put it in live text to get credit for it. You won't get credit for this. It's 150 points. And a couple of times I've had to really track people down to get them to do it, to gain their points. And post it in Blackboard as well, because that's where your grade point tally is gathered together. I think that's it for today. I hope you are enjoying this course. I hope you are also using some of what you've read in Ruby Payne and Lorraine Monroe, and the weekly presentations, the videos, and so on that are in Blackboard here. I hope you're relating some of these things to the real world that is swirling around us, and where we're caught in between 2 battling camps of understanding about diversity. Okay, a lot of fear involved on both sides here, a lot of impropriety on both sides here. And how are you going to be a force for mediation, okay, and conciliation and reconciliation even after the fact when things haven't gone well. How are we going to be that kind of force in our society, our wonderful, great American society, protected by fantastic documents about individual rights? You know, in the case of Dan's expulsion, there's a document in Canada. It's a Canadian school system. There's a document in Canadian law that indicates what everyone's rights are, the rights of the group and the rights of the individual. Really interesting when those two things come into and begin to clash. You know, the cases, the transgender case that's hitting in Virginia is going to go to the Supreme Court. The deportations where people are stopped on the street and asked for their identification and then locked up and driven away. There's some issues about that. It's pretty un-American, and we can think of but on the other hand, we have this great fear in our country about these masses of people that are gathering at the border. In Page County, we are processing one more student that's arrived on our doorstep here that has no English language capability whatsoever, no parents, no family, but somehow made her way. This is a junior high school student, made her way from Texas, from one of the detention centers there on our soil. These undocumented, unattended, unaccompanied immigrant children. So they are protected under our Constitution. Alrighty, 8,000 students in a detention center with really nothing much going on there. There are some serious issues. I don't believe that these are issues of immigration. I believe these are issues of migration. And think what that means for the future with regard to water, to food, to clean air, to jobs, or you name it. It is a very trying situation here, and our nerve and our faith are being tested. Okay, and I just invite you to be a mediator, a conciliator, and an expert in the room. That's what the journal article critiques are all about, is giving you a sense of what is right and what is helpful, what is useful, what works, okay, and what leads towards success for everybody if possible, right? Seems to be difficult in a climate of fear, and I'll leave it at that for you, and it's going to be your job. I'm getting to that point where I'm nearing the end of my useful working life, alrighty, and you're just beginning. You're arming yourself for some of the best possibilities for building and for rebuilding, and again, reconciliation of people that don't understand each other and who are not very smart about some things. Where ignorance and fear meet in the same place, together with diversity. Look out. Okay, we see it on the streets of our cities, particularly. Okay, but Page County, in rural Page County, the same thing. Alrighty, I guess I'll leave it at that. I had the distinct honor of uploading my first novel this past week, and I apologize for being out of touch with a couple people along the way. It's just been a very stressful and also joyful week here of uploading a book, and it's all set to go, and it'll probably be on Amazon before too long. And I'm really proud about that. It's a novel, and it's my first one, so I won't say anything about the quality of it. But I've had a ball writing it the last couple of years, and it's all come together, and it's pretty much done now. So I'm back in full swing with you guys. So God bless you all, and I wish you a wonderful week here. I don't know, there's no dogs. I don't have any dogs. Well, there's one over there on the chair. Little dog, my dog. Yep. You can see the ears back there, and she's always watching for anybody who might sneak up on us from the up the driveway. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time, Lord willing. Bye bye.